Because she's complaining. I'm like, what the she talking about? Oprah, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby was gonna be. They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people wanna know.
It was only supposed to go as a comedy special show, a night of jokes, laughter, and Chris Rock doing what he does best. But within minutes, the night turned into something much bigger than jokes. Chris Rock didn't just perform, he launched a nuke at the couple. And now everybody is pointing their fingers at Meghan Markle.
Now let me show you how the Duchess of Sussex made this.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny too that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name, our little family name.
Rock didn't waste time with careful setups or hiding behind metaphors. He went straight for the jugular. In less than a minute, he flipped Meghan from a figure of sympathy into a punchline that the whole world could laugh at. He mocked her for presenting herself as a victim, for claiming to be blindsided by the racism and coldness of the royal family. The audience roared, and the silence between laughs was even more brutal. That's the real power of a comedian like Chris Rock. He doesn't just make you laugh, he makes you look at a situation you thought you understood and see it in a completely new way. For years, Meghan had built her public image as the innocent outsider, the Hollywood actress who didn't know what she was walking into when she married Prince Harry, the fairy tale that turned into a nightmare. But Rock burned that fairy tale to the ground in front of millions of people.
Show everybody trying to be a victim. Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Seemed like a nice lady. Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light skin lottery? Hit the fucking light skin lottery and still going on complaining. Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea.
He called out her complaints, the interviews where she said she didn't know how racist the royal family could be. He reminded the audience that this was the same royal family whose history is soaked in colonialism, classism, and centuries of exclusion. And the crowd laughed not just because it was funny, but because it was undeniable. How could someone as media savvy as Meghan Markle claim she didn't know what she was stepping into? Rock compared it to an NBA player saying they had no idea basketball was about dribbling and shooting. It was absurd, and once he pointed it out, the illusion shattered. Meghan wasn't Cinderella. She wasn't blindsided. She had researched, planned, and dated Prince Harry for years before marrying him, and Rock made it clear to everyone watching that this was no fairy tale accident. The most devastating part of Rock's takedown wasn't just the jokes themselves, it was the chain reaction they triggered. Because once Chris Rock gave permission to laugh at Meghan, the comedy floodgates opened. Late night hosts, British comics, Twitter accounts, TikTok creators, everybody piled on.
Maybe your grandmother used to say it too also, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But what's happened?
If they can compare what the experience that I went through was similar to what has been shared with us. Kate was called Waity Katie, waiting to marry William. While I imagine that was really hard, and I can't picture what that felt like. This is not the same. And if a member of his family will comfortably say, we've all had to deal with things that are rude and racist are not the same.
In less than 48 hours, Meghan Markle went from a misunderstood duchess to a global punchline. Across Britain, comedians sharpened their knives. They mocked the contradictions in Meghan and Harry's image. The couple demanded privacy while signing multi-million-dollar Netflix deals. They spoke about rejecting status while clinging to royal titles. They posted curated photos while complaining about media intrusion. To comics, this was irresistible, a perfect contradiction, a gift that kept on giving. In America, the late-night scene joined in too. Jokes about Meghan's obsession with attention, Harry's new life outside the palace, and their endless interviews flooded every show. The audience ate it up, and because comedy thrives on repetition, the same jokes echoed from one stage to another. That wasn't a coincidence. It was proof the narrative had shifted. By the end of that week, Meghan Markle wasn't just a duchess or a victim. She was a walking meme. TikTok creators stitched her Netflix clips with sarcastic voiceovers. Twitter users turned her contradictions into viral screenshots. Suddenly, every awkward moment from her public appearances was fair game, and the internet did what it always does. weaponized her own words against her. What made this cultural shift so brutal was that Meghan wasn't in the room to fight back. She couldn't interrupt the jokes. She couldn't explain. She couldn't soften the blow. Chris Rock had spoken and the world listened. Once a narrative catches fire in comedy, it spreads faster than any PR campaign can contain. Rock didn't just roast Meghan, he detonated her public image in less than 5 minutes. From that point, her critics had fresh ammunition. Every late night monologue, every sketch, every YouTube breakdown circled back to the same theme. Meghan Markle wasn't a victim, she was a manipulator. She wasn't blindsided, she was calculated. She didn't stumble into fame, she hunted it. And that's the cruelty of comedy. A perfect roast doesn't just sting in the moment, it rewrites how people see you forever. Before Chris Rock's special, Meghan still had defenders who saw her as a victim of a ruthless press. After it, those defenders were quieter. The laughs had made it safe to question her story, to call out her contradictions without guilt. The danger of modern mockery lies in speed and repetition. Memes move at lightning pace, and unlike traditional news, they do not die quickly. One major example of this mockery was the way television skits portrayed her. A new spin-off of Suits, the series where Meghan once acted, was imagined as focusing on her struggles to balance a legal career with supporting an unemployed immigrant husband. On Saturday Night Live, they were cast not as victims of royal politics, but as clueless dropouts who were desperate for relevance. These jokes worked because they were exaggerated versions of things the couple had actually said or done. Meghan's polished sound bites came across as staged speeches. Harry's personal confessions sounded absurd when repeated in front of laughing audiences.
There are a number of reasons why the UK print media, why British newspapers, not the force they were, but still obviously powerful and influential, have gone after Prince Harry and his wife with, I would argue, unprecedented venom. The kind of vitriol and bile that would normally be reserved for child abusers and serial killers.
One of Meghan's biggest controversies was her relationship with the British press. She often said that the media treated her unfairly compared to other royals. Many of her defenders pointed out the racist undertones and how some tabloids covered her. They highlighted how Meghan was often described negatively for things that Kate Middleton, her sister-in-law, was praised for. For example, Meghan was criticized for cradling her baby bump in public, while Kate was described as tender when doing the same thing. Meghan herself admitted in interviews that this unequal treatment felt deeply personal, but while many sympathized, others argued that Meghan exaggerated the media's behavior. This disagreement became one of the first big divides in how the public viewed her. The Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021 was another turning point in her controversy. In that interview, Meghan spoke about her struggles within the royal family, including claims that some members had raised questions about her unborn son's skin color. She also said she felt unsupported when she experienced suicidal thoughts. These were shocking revelations that shook the monarchy's image and generated headlines worldwide. For some people, Meghan became a brave woman speaking the truth against a powerful institution. But for her critics, the timing and delivery of the interview looked opportunistic. They argued that Meghan and Harry chose to reveal these private issues while profiting from media attention, which many saw as hypocritical since the couple had often complained about lack of privacy. Her professional choices after leaving the royal family also caused controversy. The multi-million-dollar Netflix and Spotify deals were supposed to show Meghan and Harry as independent and influential storytellers, but critics said the projects were self-centered, focusing more on their grievances than on meaningful content. The Netflix documentary especially was seen by many as an extended complaint session rather than a new perspective. Meghan's Spotify podcast, although it attracted attention at first, was eventually canceled after only one season. Reports from inside Spotify even suggested that executives were disappointed with the couple's lack of creative output, adding to the criticism that Meghan wanted fame and money without consistent work. But the true turning point came with animated satire. When South Park created an episode focused on Harry and Meghan, the damage became permanent. The episode portrayed them demanding privacy while using megaphones and flying on private jets. It showed the contradictions in their story so clearly that no explanation or rebuttal could undo the impact. A cartoon exaggeration can stick in people's minds more firmly than real events. By the time the South Park episode aired, Meghan was no longer just controversial. She was cemented as a symbol in comedy culture. Memes continued to spread, late-night jokes continued to repeat, and stand-up comedians kept drawing new material from the couple's every move. The laughter lasted longer than the news cycle, and laughter, unlike headlines, does not fade away. It becomes permanent. It is a modern case study of how culture works in the internet age. Memes spread faster than truth. Satire leaves a deeper mark than facts. Cartoons and jokes become remembered longer than interviews and statements. The numbers tell the story. Millions watched her royal wedding. Millions more streamed the Netflix documentary. But millions of memes, jokes, and clips about her continued to circulate online. These jokes have outlived every official statement, every attempt at rebranding, and every public appearance. That is the final proof that in today's world, once laughter takes your story, you can never get it back. Chris Rock had lit the match, but the internet poured gasoline on it. Every old clip of Meghan resurfaced, now reinterpreted through the lens of hypocrisy. Even casual viewers who hadn't cared about the royal drama suddenly had an opinion, and most of those opinions weren't kind. As always, don't hesitate to comment down your thoughts on this situation, and while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well.